The Premier League is back, and it is now time to do my league predictions. Who's going up? Well, I say going up, but who's winning the league? Who's going to go back straight back down? Time to find out. So, yeah, same as what we did with the La Liga predictions, guys. We've got the table here, 1st to 20th, and we start off with Arsenal. Now, of course, they finished second last time out on 74 points, 10 points off of Liverpool. But they've finally got the striker that they've been wanting for ages. Victor Gyökeres, signed him from Sporting Lisbon. Is he going to be the missing piece for Arsenal? Possibly. Possibly. But I don't see them finishing second. I think they're going to finish third. I just feel like Man City are going to bounce back this season. Yes, the City had a pretty torrid time last time out, but I reckon they're going to be able to bounce back, and Gyökeres might need some time to adapt to playing for Arsenal, so I see them finishing third. Aston Villa, they finished sixth last time out. That got them into the Europa League place, because obviously top 5 in the Premier League got a Champions League, similar to La Liga. So yeah, Aston Villa got sixth in the end. They finished level on points with Newcastle, but finished behind them on goal difference, so it's a bit painful for them in that sense. But yeah, I think they could do a really good job in the Europa League, because Unai Emery loves a Europa League campaign. So yeah, I think they'll could do quite well in the Europa League. But as for the Premier League, I feel like they might sacrifice it a bit, potentially. But I feel like they have a good enough squad to manage both Europe and the Prem. So I feel like they will finish in 5th position, one better. And of course, if top 5 in the Premier League gets Champions League again, then they'll be in a Champions League spot. So yeah, that's all good for them. And yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning the Europa League. So yeah, good luck for Villa. Bournemouth now. Yeah, of course, they finished 9th last season, but they have lost a lot of their best players. Kerkez and Dean Huijsen being the main two. Yeah, losing them. And of course, they've lost Sabani recently as well to PSG. Their defence has been absolutely destroyed in this summer transfer window. And yeah, I think that's going to have an effect on Bournemouth. So I believe they will finish 14th for this time round. Yeah, it's looking a bit grim for Bournemouth in that sense. Of course, Kepa's not there anymore. He's gone to Arsenal. And then, yeah, like I said, they've lost, like, pretty much their entire defence. So, yeah, it's going to be brutal for them. Speaking of brutal for some teams, Brentford. Now, of course, last time out, they finished in 10th, which is good for them. But obviously now they've lost Mbeumo, they've lost Norgard. They could potentially lose Johan Wizzer. They've already lost their manager, Thomas Frank, as well. So they have been absolutely decimated, Brentford. And honestly, this might shock some of you, but I think they're going down. I genuinely believe that Brentford are going to go get relegated this season. They've lost too many players. Like, they've lost the manager, and the new one that's come in was a set-piece coach. So yeah, and they haven't really replaced them Wemo yet. I mean, it would be on the likes of Damsgaard in order to be able to step up in that, but I don't know. I just don't see it. And Wizard could still leave, and that would just leave them in a hell of a lot of trouble, if you ask me. And to be honest, I think they're going to go down, unfortunately. Moving on to Brighton. Now, they finished 8th last time out, but of course, they have lost João Pedro to Chelsea, so they could suffer the effects of that. But Danny Welbeck had his best goal scoring season for them last time out. And they brought in De Kuyper, who is a good FPL shout, by the way. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go and watch that on the channel for FPL players. But yeah, Brighton, I think they'll finish 8th once again. They always seem to just be like a good, solid, like 8th place team. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up signing somebody from the middle of nowhere and then he ends up getting sold for like 100 million or something. Just typical Brighton. Right, Burnley, of course, one of the teams that came up from the Championship last time out. They finished second in the end in the Championship. I think, yeah, very solid defensive backline, but they have lost their number 1 goalkeeper in James Trafford. He's gone to Man City. But even if they still had him, I'm sorry, Burnley, but you're finishing rock bottom. I'm just not convinced by what they've done in the transfer window. I don't think they've done enough to want to try and stay up. I mean, their best signing was Armando Broja, who's always injured and everything, so I'm not too sure about that one. I've got to be honest. I think they're going to finish rock bottom. Right, Chelsea, of course, they finished 4th last time out, and yeah, they've continued to improve their squad again, just spending and spending. They've got some players out the door, though, as well. But, of course, they've brought in João Pedro, Byro Gittins. So, yeah, it's two decent signings there. And who knows, they're probably going to add even more signings. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I still think Chelsea will finish fourth once again. Yeah, I mean, they need like I mean, João Pedro can definitely bridge the gap, him and Delap. But I still don't know if them two alone are going to get enough goals to really push Chelsea higher up the table. But of course, time will tell. Now, Crystal Palace. Now, last time they finished in 12th, and they've got themselves, but quite shockingly, they've got themselves a Conference League spot, even though it should be Europa League. I stand with Crystal Palace in that sense. Yes, they had that John Textor who owns Lyon and this, that, and the other, but he pulled out of it. So Palace should have been allowed to compete in the Europa League, but oh well, it is what it is. They're in the Conference League. And yeah, I mean, Mateta's still there, so decent. Eze is still there at the time of recording this as well, so as long as they can keep a hold of Eze, I feel like they can have a decent season. So I'll say they'll finish 12th once again. I feel like Palace is just always that mid-table team that just, yeah. They can't get any higher, but they won't get any lower, basically. That's just what Crystal Palace seem like they are these days. Now, Everton, of course, last season they finished 13th. They did sack Sean Dyche halfway through and brought back David Moyes, and that's when they really started to improve. And then even now they've brought in the likes of Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Jack Grealish on a loan deal from Man City, which is absolutely immense. If he can rediscover his form, then it could be a good team Everton have. And, of course, like a Beto performing as well, and Iliman Ndiaye was starting to perform as well. So yeah, I think Everton, and especially at their new stadium as well, they want to get some good momentum going. But yeah, I think Everton will finish in 11th position this time out. Yeah, a little bit of an improvement, but of course that if they were still at Goodison Park, I might have put them a bit higher. But with them being in a new stadium, they were getting used to new surroundings and stuff. So yeah, I think they'll finish in 11th position, which is still an improvement for them, and kind of closing the gap to where they want to be. Fulham, well, of course, they finished in 11th last time out, and yeah, I mean, they're still a solid team, and of course, Smith Rowe is there. Maybe he can have a better campaign this time out. Raul Jimenez seems to have rediscovered his best form after that horrific injury he suffered a few years back. But yeah, with the fact that they've not got Anthony Robertson for the start of the season, who is vital for them, I'd say they'll finish 13th. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they might have a bit of a fall off, but we'll have to wait and see on that sense. And yeah, that moves us on nicely now to Leeds, who of course they finished top of the championship last time out, and yeah, I mean they did. You did think they were going to bottle it at one point, but no, they actually managed to sort their stuff out, and yeah, they didn't bottle it. They never didn't fall apart again, as they would say it. And yeah, they've actually gone up, and will they be able to stay up? To be honest, I unfortunately don't think they will be able to. Because, yeah, I haven't really seen much of them in the transfer window. I mean, they've signed Lucas Nemecha from Wolfsburg, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. So, unfortunately, I'm putting Leeds in 19th position. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to have enough quality in there. But Liverpool, on the other hand, they're definitely going to have the quality. Now, of course, they won the league last time out. 84 points, 10 points clear of Arsenal, which was immense for them. And, of course, Salah had a really good season. And yeah, even better now, they've brought in the likes of Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike. They could still bring in Isak, which if they do that, then I'd just see them as unstoppable, to be brutally honest. Yes, of course, they have had the very tragic loss of Diogo Jota, which again was horrific, and yeah, condolences to his family and friends on that, because it's horrific what happened with Jota. But yeah, they've managed to... I still think they'll be too strong enough for everybody else. So I believe Liverpool will win the Premier League and go back to back. I just don't see anybody stopping them. And yeah, Man City, now of course they had a bit of a drop-off last season, finishing third. But they managed to recover quite well, because at points it looked like they were going to finish outside the Champions League spots. But no, Man City managed to recover well. And they've brought in a few signings, Ait-Nouri being one of them, to tighten up that back line, and then Cherki coming in as well. Of course, it'd be... interesting to see if he gets enough game time due to the pep roulette. But yeah, I think Man City will recover to finish second this time out. Yeah, I think that they're going to get back to their best. Well, somewhat close to their best, but of course time will tell. Moving to the other side of Manchester now, and Manchester United. Now, of course, they had a very horrific season last time out, finishing 15th in the league, losing the Europa League final to Tottenham. yeah, it was not a good season for United, but they have managed to bring in a few players: Matthias Cunha, Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko from for all those respective clubs of Wolves, Brentford, and Leipzig. And of course, Amorim has had a pre-season now to fully embed his tactics and stuff like that into the players. Of course, they've had a bit of a clear out. Rashford's obviously gone to Barcelona. They're trying to get rid of Anthony, Garnacho, etc. Jadon Sancho as well. But yeah, will Man United improve in their league position? I believe they will. I feel like the lack of European football will help them in that regard. So I believe they'll go up 5 positions, up into 10th position. Of course, that would mean they don't get European football again unless they win the FA Cup or something. But yeah, I feel like that's all Man United can really realistically hope for. I mean, it's a bit unknown, to be honest. Will Sesko be able to perform? Because you'd seen they'd done that with Højlund. They brought in somebody, a young striker who had a decent campaign, but then he just fell apart as soon as he went there. But time will tell, I guess. Right, Newcastle now. Of course, they finished 5th last time out in the Prem, of course, being in Champions League football. But big developments, obviously. Isak is pretty much refusing to play for them again. So, you've lost your main striker, and of course, Callum Wilson's left them as well. So, as of right now, Newcastle don't really have a striker. Of course, they've signed Malik Thiaw, but yeah, they don't really have a striker. So, yeah, with Isak refusing to play, and obviously they don't have a adequate replacement for him yet, I think that's going to hurt Newcastle, as well as the fact that they're in the Champions League and they struggled the last time they were in that. So I believe Newcastle will finish in 9th position this time around. Of course, maybe they could go up a bit if they actually manage to get a striker in, but the amount of rejections they've had this transfer window, it's absolutely mental. Right, Nottingham Forest, who finished 7th last time out, and it should have been a Conference League place, but due to everything that's happened with Crystal Palace, they've ended up getting in the Europa League. So you have Nottingham Forest. I mean, they're a decent side, and they've managed to keep a hold of Gibbs White, which is huge for them. If Chris Wood can have another season as well as he did last time out, then they're in the money as well. But of course, maybe European football could affect them slightly, because obviously you don't know whether their squad can be able to handle it. But they have, as of the time of recording this, yesterday, they announced, well, they didn't announce, but Fabrizio announced that James McAtee was going to go there, and then of course they've already signed Undioi from Bologna. So yeah, those are good additions to their team, and I believe they will finish in 6th position this time out. I feel like Forest are going from strength to strength under Nuno Espirito Santo, and I don't really see anywhere where they're going to get stopped. Sunderland now, of course, they were the team that won the playoffs and the championship, beating Sheffield United in the process to get back to the Premier League after, I believe it's like 8 years or something since they were last in the league. So yeah, it's been a long time since Sunderland were in the Premier League, and yeah, it's nice to see them back. Now, of course, they've had a lot of signings, to be fair. The most notable one being Granit Xhaka. Now that was an unbelievable signing. I mean, they've made so many signings; it's unbelievable. I couldn't even like keep up with how many signings they've had. Xhaka, Adingra, they've signed someone from Getafe. I forgot his name now, but they've signed that many players. It's absolutely insane how well they've done in the transfer window. Now, of course, you've already seen that the 3 relegated teams, so I do believe that Sunderland will survive, but it will be quite tight. I've got them in 16th position. Yeah, I feel like they're the most well-equipped. If you asked me that if we were doing this video about a month or 2 ago, I would have said Sunderland would have finished rock bottom, just based on the squad they had. But the signings they've made, I feel like they are in a very good position to survive now, out of the 3. So yeah, I think Sunderland will survive in 16th position in the Premier League. Now moving on to Tottenham, of course, they had a pretty horrific campaign league-wise, finishing 17th, which is absolutely shocking for a team of Tottenham standards. But yeah, they did win the Europa League, though. They won their first trophy in 17 years, which is absolutely unbelievable. And yeah, of course, they've lost Son, but Big Ange got the sack, and then Thomas Frank has come in, and yeah, they've looked all right so far. I mean, as of the time of recording this, the other day they played PSG in the UEFA Super Cup. They went 2-0 up, and then they went and done a typical Tottenham and bottled it. But yeah, if they didn't do a typical Tottenham and bottled it, they should have won that game. But yeah, Tottenham, They're looking good, to be fair. They're looking good under Thomas Frank. Of course, James Madison's out with an ACL injury for quite some time, so it remains to be seen whether... Well, obviously, he's going to be out for quite a while, and it remains to be seen like how well he'll do when he eventually gets back. But they have brought in Mohamed Kudus, as well as Kevin Danzo and Matthias Tell on permanent deals. So I think that will help them, and I think they will finish in 7th position this time out. I feel like Champions League might derail them a bit, but of course time will tell. But yeah, I think Tottenham will definitely improve in the league this time out. West Ham now, the only real notable signing they've made is that Diouf, the Senegalese left back, and as well as Callum Wilson. So yeah, I don't really feel like West Ham will be able to push up the table that much, so I'm going to put them in 15th position. And then finally, Wolves. Yeah, they've lost Cunha and Aït-Nouri, two of their most important players, which, yeah, it's going to hamper them big style. So yeah, with Wolves, I am going to put them in 17th, narrowly avoiding the drop. But I just feel like they'll be solid enough defensively, possibly, to just keep them up. And Strand Larsen might get them enough goals to make sure that the goal difference is good enough for them. There we go, guys. That's my Premier League predictions for this upcoming season. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching this video. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Bring on the new season.